Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here from CubeKing77.com. As you guys know, Google has released previously a Nexus 7 2 variants of it and Nexus 10 as well, 7 inches and 10 inch tablets. And now this time, the latest edition, they have gone with 9 inches with the Nexus 9. As you can see, this was the first device that was shipped with Android 5.0 Lollipop pre-installed. And I've been using it for a while now. Actually, I got it on launch day. And I have a lot to say about it actually when it comes to build quality, when it comes to the software on the tablet itself, and just many other things. So let's go ahead and check it out. Alright, so let's go ahead and get right into it. The first thing I want to talk about is the design. HTC did manufacture this device. You will notice it's very plain on the back. I mean, it's just all black or all white. You have two options, and then it says Nexus right there. There's not too much when it comes to design that makes it kind of cool looking or anything. It's very plain. You'll see the back does accumulate some fingerprints that you can kind of clean off if you get like a wet rag or anything like that. You'll see you have a camera and a flash in the far upper right hand corner. Now some nice design features that they included are these speakers. So you'll see that you have dual front-facing speakers. Front-facing, the key word, so you have one on the top, one on the bottom. They're very subtle. Some of you may know that the HTC One M8 does have speakers on the front and bottom, stereo quality speakers on the phone, but they're not as obvious on the Nexus 9 as they are on the HTC One M8. When it comes to sound quality of the two, I would say they're very similar. They might have used similar speakers in the M8 and this phone, and on this tablet. That being said, I wish they would have used maybe louder speakers and better quality speakers because it is a tablet. You're going to use it for more media related devices and using the speakers more on your tablet. Now you'll also notice a front-facing camera, 1.6 megapixels right there, which is used for taking your selfies and video chatting. It does its job. On the left side, you have absolutely no buttons, nothing like that. And then on the right side, you have your buttons. And I do want to talk about these buttons right here. So you'll see a power button right there, volume up and down right there. Now, however, you'll notice they don't really protrude out of the device at all. Almost feels like you have to press inside the tablet itself for you to actually press the buttons. They're impossible to find if you're not searching for them. And overall, HTC just did a bad job. They don't feel good when you press them, anything like that. I have heard reports that they might be shipping out a new shipment where they bumped up these buttons to make it easier to press. Hopefully that's true. If you got one that had better volume and power buttons than me, comment on the video and let me know, but these are just not good, not fun to use at all. Now aside from these volume buttons, I've heard reports of build quality issues. I've heard that some people can actually like press into the device somehow on the back. I haven't had any issues with that. Obviously if you put enough force into it, it's going to bend in a little bit, but nothing too crazy at all. I've also heard about light bleed issues, which I will test right now. I have just an app in the Play Store, backlight bleed test. It's all the way up, brightness 100%. So you'll see I really don't have a huge issue with it at all. You'll see in the bottom left here, I may raise a little concern for that, but not really because it's never noticeable. And it's hard on an LCD device. You're always going to get that in the corners, but some people actually had issues with it, so I'm sure they returned it and got a refund appropriately, but I don't think HTC did a very good job with their quality control on their devices. Now anyways, let's go ahead and turn the device on. You can actually double tap the screen and it's going to turn on, which is really great because the power button's so crappy that you don't really need to press it. However, if you want to change the volume or turn the screen off, you're going to need to find those buttons, so good luck with that. So you can double tap to turn it on. You'll notice a really nice display, actually a 9-inch display, 9-inch IPS LCD display. I believe the resolution is 2048 by 1553 if I'm not mistaken, and it's a 4:3 aspect ratio. Pretty much everywhere can rotate between horizontal and vertical, unless you're in an app which doesn't support a specific mode, whether it be horizontal or vertical. The app developer would need to implement that into the software. Now when it comes to the screen, I would say it's very good. It might not be as good as the latest iPad that Apple has made, but it's still very good. The colors look great when going through these wallpapers, etc. It looks really nice. I would say definitely good enough if you're watching videos, playing games. I'll show you that in just a second. But yeah, overall, as you can see, the lighting looks really good. It's bright enough. actually, so you'll see my brightness isn't even close to being up halfway yet, and the brightness is more than enough, at least for inside. So when you go outside, it's very easy to see. Now, real quick, I want to talk about battery life. It has a 6,700 milliamp hour battery, and let's go ahead and go into settings, or actually quickly into battery settings right there. You'll see there's a battery percentage right there when you pull this down. Lets you know I'm at 38%. Lets you know what's using it most of the time. Screen on. When I use it, I guess heavily, I get around 5 hours screen on time without it dying. It'll last me just about all day if I use it heavily, but you're gonna need to charge it if you use it often throughout the day. I'd say it's subpar, not very good battery life. Maybe a software update might improve it, but you'll see it lets you know how many days and hours left, but that's just based on the use that I have done. If I start playing games, if I start watching movies, that's gonna go down a lot. So take that with a grain of salt. 1 day and 5 hours is not accurate. Like I said, I get about 5 hours screen time throughout the day, using it, watching movies, playing games, etc. So it could be better. Hopefully a software update might improve it, but it should be a lot better than it is. Now let's talk about a couple specs. It has 2 gigabytes of RAM on the inside, and also an NVIDIA Tegra K1 processor, which is a very nice processor actually. I do want to make a note that the tablet can actually get a little warm on the back, specifically right in the corner by the camera, which my guess would be is where the processor is. So, and I don't mean hot, like, let me turn this down, sorry about that guys. And I don't mean hot in a sense of normal warmth from a phone or a tablet. It's a little bit abnormal, and it gets a little bit too hot if you really have your screen on for a long time, or you're playing intensive games or watching a lot of movies, etc. So here's a game that I have right here, which I can show you real quick. I believe it's called Monument Valley. Hopefully colors change. So let me go ahead and tap this, and there we go. So here's a quick game. You'll see it did load up fairly quickly. It's not crazy intensive, anything like that. I can zoom in within the map here. You'll see the object is essentially to get this person to the end. So you'll see you move things around, you tap. You can tap on certain things. Now if I want to try and get her back up, there we go. Can move her along and get her through the map, and it runs pretty well. I mean, all games that I've played, I really haven't had any issues. However, I have noticed that Lollipop does need to get optimized with certain applications. I've played this Madden NFL Mobile. I don't know if they've released an update. I haven't played it recently, but you'll see it's kind of chopped off here. Just they haven't necessarily optimized it. It works fine. Sometimes it does crash though, and it just seems like app developers haven't optimized for either the screen resolution or just Lollipop in general. So you might have to wait just a little bit for certain apps to actually be optimized. And speaking of tablet optimized apps, you get the Play Store because obviously it runs Android. You'll see when I went to apps and I went to top paid and top free, there's a section that says designed for tablets or all apps. So it lets you know which apps are actually designed for use on your tablet and are going to run well, which is great. That's how it should be, because it recognizes you have a tablet and developers can do a lot with it. For example, I mean, even with the Google apps, if I go to Gmail, you'll see on the left is a list of all my messages. On the right is the message itself, which is how it should be. You can scroll through them, all that stuff, read them on the right, reply, all that good stuff. So it's fantastic. I'm gonna go back home. Other things, like for example, one that needs to be updated for sure is Hangouts. It's awful on the tablet. It's just huge. You have your list of conversations here. You can swipe over, go to your recent contacts. It should be where recent contacts are on the left and then your messages are on the right. And then of course you have your dialer all the way over here to make phone calls. It's just terrible. Hopefully with the material design update, they do update that Hangouts app, which I do use quite a bit. But like I said, other apps, Calendar is optimized for tablets. There are a lot of Google apps that have been optimized. You see, I haven't even, I actually did have this going, but here we go. So certain list views, I believe it's schedule. Yeah, so schedule is optimized for a tablet right here. You'll see you can quickly switch to days, swipe through. It has nice animations as well. Overall, it's just a really cool look to the calendar app. I really like the calendar application actually. I have a full review of it as well if you want to check that out. I'll link to it in the description. Now, and of course, finally, other multimedia. You do have the Play Store, which comes with TVs, movies. You can obviously put your own files. I can use VLC movie player. I did post on social media that the Lord of the Rings movie was actually free in the Play Store. So if I wanted to play that and stream it, I actually can. you'll see it loads on up. Let me skip to 25 minutes in, and there's Gandalf right there. So I really like Lord of the Rings. I'm a fan of it. I haven't seen the new Hobbit movie yet, though, unfortunately. So there's that. Like I said, do follow me on social media, and I'll keep you guys updated on what's free. You'll see I've gotten a bunch of these free. Wreck-It Ralph. I believe Gravity was free. A bunch of these are free, and I've posted about it as well. All right, and finally, the last thing I want to talk about, the software. Like I said, there needs to be more optimized apps for the tablet just so it can utilize this larger display. I also want to make note that it still feels like a smartphone, actually. So if I turn off the display and turn it on, there's just a lot of unused space. You'll see with Lollipop, you have your notifications right here. You can expand them. You can go into your quick settings, like such as a flashlight. I do have a full Lollipop review, so if you're looking for that, check it out. Link to it in the description. I mean, other than the different apps such as Gmail, Calendar, those optimized tablet apps, you're really going to get a similar experience on, let's say, a Nexus 6. So you'll see if I go into settings, and like I said, you can use it either vertically or horizontally, either one. Settings isn't bad. It does utilize most of the screen, but I would say just overall, unless the app is optimized for the screen, like for example the Hangouts app right there, that's just something, or any other maybe games that haven't been optimized or anything like that, it just kind of feels a little simple when you go into settings, pull that down. It used to be pull down from the right or the left, and it did different actions, kind of depending on I guess how you use the tablet itself. Settings, pretty self-explanatory with Wi-Fi. It's not easy to it's pretty easy to learn, excuse me. Now, here is where I believe they need to fix the software on tablets, is the recent running apps. I feel like this just doesn't utilize the whole screen like it should. You'll see with recent running apps, it's persistent, so it essentially holds all of them. It's pretty easy to swipe through quickly, as you can see, and you can quickly multitask. So if I want to go back to those battery statistics and then maybe switch back to calendar, you'll see it goes pretty well. So I mean, the software's been optimized pretty well for this tablet. It runs smooth. You might get a quick stutter in certain apps here and there, and I believe that's just because they're not optimized yet. So hopefully in the future, especially with software updates to Android, it's going to get better and better. I mean, like I said, this tablet is 9 inches, so if you can handle the screen size, most of the time I find myself using 2 hands with it. You'll see you got some nice widgets here. I mean, you got a lot of great features with Lollipop and great features with Android. I just feel like they could do a better job with optimizing it for tablets over smartphones and just making sure that these bigger screens use more of the screen as opposed to just a small smartphone screen that you use with one hand. All right, real quick, finally, I want to talk about the camera. Just because I don't use a camera on a tablet, I would never go to an event and bring my tablet to take pictures. I have noticed that it takes a while to focus and actually take the picture. So you see, that took a long time. But quality is okay, pretty similar to any tablet out there. Like everyone has pretty much noted, no one really takes pictures with their tablet very often. They use the front-facing camera for video chat and stuff, but overall, I mean, it's decent quality, and I mean, it's not going to be as good as those flagship smartphone cameras or anything like that, but it's okay for taking pictures. All right, but that's it. Everything I want to talk about. Again, the front-facing speakers are great to have. I wish they would have made them a little bit better. It runs stock Android, which they need to fix because they need to have more multi-app options, multitasking options, where you can have multiple apps running, utilizing this full screen. Now, that being said, with, I guess, the quality of what's included, I mean, it does really, it's very minimal design. I'd say build quality is just okay. I would say the price tag's a little bit too high. It's $400 for the base 16 gigabyte model, which I have, and I just think that's a bit too high. So you might want to wait for the price to go down if you're looking at getting one of these, or you might want to go with a Nexus 7, which I have right here, but if that's too small, see I have a Nexus 7 right here. There's a Nexus 10 as well, which is getting a little outdated, so I might stay away from a Nexus 10, but if you're looking for a 7-inch tablet, the Nexus 7 is a great option if you like the software on the Nexus 9 or the Android 5.0.1 software. So that's it. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Like I said, price point's a little too high. I wouldn't recommend it just because of that. Maybe if it was $300, I'd say it's a go. But yeah, that's my full review. Like I said, if you have any suggestions or anything like that, let me know. Leave me a comment. I'd really appreciate it. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. All links will be in the description of the video below. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up.